Hello everyone, welcome to another video on my channel. I am Marshall3498. My channel consists of moto vlogs, rider topics, advice, whatever, kind of same thing. Gear reviews that I currently own and have thoroughly tested. Some scenic places that I've been to in my area. Some few first ride videos I've done. And also some drone footage of some scenic places in the Tri-Cities area where I live. Okay, now that my intro's over, sorry guys, move on to today's moto vlog topic I'd like to talk about, and that is the tires that are on my particular bike I'm riding, which is a 07 Yamaha FC6. The tires that I have on here are Michelin Pilot Road 4s. They actually do make two versions of this tire in the Road 4. They make I don't know exactly what it's called, but they make a heavier tire version for bigger sport term bikes like the Yamaha FJR, Kawasaki Concourse, and so on and so forth. But that tire is specifically for heavier bikes, and my bike only weighs 450 pounds. I do not have the heavier bike version of it. I don't know exactly what it's called. I probably should have researched that before I made this vlog, but oh well. But yeah, these tires on here, I've had them on here for a good while now, almost a year, but you gotta think, I do live in the southern part of the United States where it does get cold and we do get a little bit of snow, and as a lot of you know who ride in colder temperatures, I'll ride down to about 40, maybe 35 degrees if it's clear like it is out today, but any colder than that, it's just, unless you really have heated gear on, it's just not a lot of fun. But I've put about 4,000 miles on these tires. I have that same tire I'm speaking of, front and rear. Put them on just about the same time, only about a month apart. And even with 4,000 miles on it, even the rear, which I guess typically wears out faster, depending on what type of bike you're riding and how you ride it. But even with like 4,000 miles on there, they still look almost brand new. It's ridiculous on the life you can get out of these. I would say, of course, everybody's different and everybody rides different. And everybody rides in different types of climate where the road itself may be a little more, the road surface may be a little more abrasive on tires. But I'd say at least out of rear, you probably get 8,000 miles out of it. That's just my guess from the amount of little wear that is even on the rear of this. The front, I know, front wheel, all it does is turn. It doesn't really have to apply any power, so it's even less worn than the back. But the back still looks real new. From what I can tell, I'm nowhere close to the little wear bar indicators that are on there. Those of you who ride motorcycles know exactly what I'm talking about. Sorry I didn't get off the bike to show you that, but I just thought I'd make a good topic for today's video. But I mean, the tires themselves, I haven't had any trouble out of them as far as losing air pressure, not sealing, or this, that, and other. Not staying sealed on the bead. Of course, that's the tire installer who does a good job at that. But if they're not quality tires, which these are, then they may not do that. But overall grip's really good. I don't really ride my bike per se what it's capable of, really aggressive, speeding, wheelies, none of that stuff. I mean, I'll play a little bit on some back roads where there's not traffic and there's not driveways of people to pull out on. And, those of you riding back roads know when you do get away from a little population a little bit, there tends to be less debris in the road from gravel getting washed out in the road and stuff too. So, but these tires, they've held up well. They give good grip. I couldn't really tell y'all exactly how they would warm up or how long it would take to warm up, because like I said, I don't really ride that aggressive. So, but I've dragged the feelers on this bike a few times and have not really had any trouble. But that's just mainly lower speed corner where you really have to put a lot of lean angle into the bike to get around the corner well without running wide or running in the ditch. But they've done well. They've held up well. I can't review for anybody who's interested in these tires, how they really are in the wet, because kind of more of a fair weather rider. I commute back and forth to work. What is this moron doing? Sorry about that. I commute back and forth to work. I'll do day trips. I'll go ride like today on the weekends for several hours, maybe put 100 miles, maybe more on the tires in one day. So I don't really know how they, like I said, I don't know how they do in the wet. I have gotten caught in some breeze showers, and they've done well. The only main thing why I don't really ride in the rain specifically myself is, those of you who ride, I'll wear a full face helmet for maximum protection that I can, just like I always wear on my gear when I'm riding, always. But the main thing is, you just can't see, even in heavy fog. Any of y'all ride who know that, even in heavy fog, it's extremely hard to see. But the tires I've been more impressed with. They broke in easy. Just did some, kind of less aggressive lean all at once. Broke in well. Didn't have any problems slipping out from underneath me. Even the front, which they say is worse to break in than a rear. And I've broken in the other tires on my other bike I used to have before this one, a rear anyway. So I can kind of tell you, I have a little bit of experience of that, but not a lot. But main thing I can tell you too is, make sure when you are wearing them in, I had this happen to me, make sure either you take your tire gauge you use at home, take that with you when you have the new ones installed, and check them before you leave the parking lot. I don't care if a guy says he checked them or not. It did happen to me. My bike felt a little weird when I got the rear put on here, and I did not do that myself, and I was like, wow, my bike feels different. I know it's a new rear, but feels awfully strange. Rode worse. As far as rear suspension, felt a lot stiffer. I'm like, what is going on with my bike? What's wrong with it? So I get it home and go get my tire gauge. Let the tire cool off, because you're supposed to check tire pressure when the tires are completely cold. So I kind of did that on my way. Got the tire installed on the way home from work in the early afternoon. Later that night, before going to bed to get up the next morning, I checked tire pressure. Tire pressure is like 12 pounds over what the factory recommends. Most of your bikes will either have in your owner's manual what it recommends, tire pressure front and rear, and a couple different variances of that. Like if you're riding 2 up, it'll be a little different. If you're riding more aggressive, it'll a little bit different, or like normal. Mine has like a, mine has like a 2 up tire pressure and a single rider tire pressure, and it's a couple pounds different, especially in the rear for just single rider, which that's what I follow, because I mostly ride by myself. I do take my oldest daughter with me riding sometimes. She's rode a few times. She's 14, so, and I got her some good gear. But for the most part, guys, tires have done well. I can't say anything bad about them. They ride good. They stay true to their air pressure. They don't lose very much as the temperature changes. But you should also check your tires about once a month as the temperature changes, even if you don't check them before you go riding. Or you really should check them before each ride, especially if you haven't rode it in a while. That's what I do. I tend to almost check it just about every time I get on it, because that's the number one thing you can do on your bike to make sure you're connected with the bike, is to always check your tire pressure and make sure your chain's in good shape. Because the last thing you want to do is have that rear chain too tight or too loose, have it kick the chain and get caught in the back wheel, or depending on how the chain kicks off, it could always not really get in the back wheel and stop it, but it could also get jammed up in the rear sprocket and basically just instantly lock up the rear, because it keeps it from turning. And that is one thing you do not want to happen. But on that, guys, if you like this content, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, subscribe, and leave a comment down below if you have any questions about tires or any other motorcycle related topic. I'd be more than happy to answer it for you when I get time. But on that, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.